Okay.
Okay.
So Kendrick Lamar and I can't believe you don't know this. Okay.
No, I mean, I was looking it up and I was like, oh, this is too much. It was almost like that Blake Lively thing that you and I, like at first I was like, it's just too much. It goes back too far.
Yeah.
Because Drake is he kind of drops subtle hints, right? Against this guy. No? You're saying no.
So what originally happened is there's Drake the artist, there's Kendrick Lamar, and then there's this guy, J. Cole. So his name is J. Cole, like just letter J. And he's known for like making more like uplifting and like more wholesome like rap style music.
Okay. So sorry to interrupt, but you have to remind me. I wanted to ask you about the language on Beyonce's country album and if that's normal nowadays. So anyway, don't let me forget. I want to circle about that. Okay. Keep going, girl.
I can't remember who released a song first, if it was Drake, J. Cole, someone released a song and they were like, kind of like, hey buddy, like poking fun at Drake and Kendrick is how I think it goes. So like they were like inviting like this kind of like rap
feud.
Back and forth feud. Yeah. Like, but kind of in like a not serious way. And Kendrick was like, you got to get out of this, J. Cole. I'm about to destroy Drake. And so J. Cole unreleased the song and he was like, I'm sorry, backs out of it. And then it's Kendrick and Drake. And I think Kendrick has been like waiting for the perfect time. Like he has just been a Drake hater for forever. And I've never been super into Drake. So I don't know. But like you go back and you listen to his songs and it's talking about like, I like him real young. Like, and it's like alluding to stuff like with Biggie Smalls, I think, who's like a real bad guy. And all the Tupac stuff and P. Diddy, Sean Combs being in that as well. Yeah, like allegedly.
Yeah, and you know what? Allegedly, I've heard some things about Snoop Dogg recently.
Really? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, it's just, wow, are we surprised? And you know what? Like, you were saying that Drake says, I like them young. I'm so dumb, Emily, that I would have thought he meant as soon as they turn 21.
20?
You know, I mean, like, I'm that dumb. I'd have been like, he likes her about 18 and a half. Well, you know, like, okay.
You don't realize.
So dumb.
You don't realize.
Yeah.
And so Kendrick, like, pulls up, like, he gets, like, all this I don't know who his, like, team is. I hope, like, either he did it himself or he's got a team, but they are good at what they do. Like, he just pulled up, like, these receipts of like all this stuff that Drake has done, all the stuff that he said, and he 2 songs, and it's not, or they're not like us. I forget the actual title of it, which is like a hugely popular one. And then another one called Meet the Grams, which is, I know, but that's Drake's
family. Should that
family.
be our theme song, or should we stay far away?
Yeah. So Meet the Grams is, I think, a response to the diss track that Drake then released after Kendrick released Not Like Us.
Okay. So have you heard, sorry to interrupt, but have you heard like where they edited the song? Like when he came up stage and after they did?
Yeah, I've heard the full. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, they hit it right on, like the things that were aimed right at Drake. It was nuts.
Yeah, the section that they chose.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so like exciting, but so this song Not Like Us has gone like mega viral. It has like people, I think it was Dr. Dre who performed it. Everyone came up on stage with him and like it was Kendrick and Dr. Dre and it was Crips and Bloods together, like shaking hands, doing this dance together, singing this song because of like, yes, it's just a very wholesome, unifying song that is targeted at Drake. And it says a lot of true things about like, you know, they don't really care for us. We're just trying to make it out here. And, you know, all the stuff that it goes into about Drake. And it's so good. And it's become like Drake's song that he released as like a response to that, like flopped so hard. And when when Drake originally released his like counter diss track or whatever, Kendrick then like it was like something like 7 minutes later or like 11 minutes later released another track, like talking about like, you can't do this as well as I can, like all this like stuff. Wow.
So he was ready.
Super good. And all the stuff that he's called out Drake for, like all, and it's so Millie Bobby Brown. who is now of age, like 22, 23, maybe 21. But she is
That's not who I thought that was.
she played in Stranger Things.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's like the main girl from Stranger Things.
Okay.
She's now married to Bon Jovi's son. Yes. Yeah.
Bon Jovi. Talk about memories. Okay, go ahead.
So Drake had been like weirdly talking to her one-on-one back when she was like 15, 14.
Oh,
and
my word.
it was rumored stuff that was going on there. I don't know if he actually did anything, but he was trying. Or like trying to like groom her kind of thing. Because, he's into younger girls. And by younger, I mean like kids. Yeah.
I was going to say even 15 is like, that's not good. Not good at all. But I think we're hearing things that's even worse than that. But,
yeah. It's all of it is bad. All of it is bad. Yeah. So that was like the controversy with Millie Bobby Brown and Drake. Oh, so Drake produced the show Euphoria. He's like one of the main producers or directors or something, which is a very sexual show about high schoolers. It's all like, it's like Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney. They're of age actors, but they're portraying like high school kids, and it's deeply sexual. So, and he has like, anyway, it's just very weird. So one of the songs that Kendrick released, I think, is called Euphoria. And it's like,
oh my word.
Yes.
That is so smart. Wow.
So Kendrick is performing at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He has performed countless concerts with this song. And Drake's team is like, we're suing you for defamation. And Kendrick's like, it's not defamation, it's truth. And here's like all of the stuff that you did. And he's taking like lines from Drake's own song and be like, what do you mean by this? What did this mean, Drake?
Smart. You have got to have such respect for just how smart he is.
Like a mastermind. Seriously. Yeah. And okay, this is horrible. But whenever this song was first released, Drake's house got like shot up, and it's speculated that it was like, stuff from, because he said something to Kendrick. Kendrick said something back like, you better not show up, did stuff to his house. But, allegedly. And I have feelings about, proven pedophiles that, I personally would just turn my head the other way. Let whatever happens to him.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a huge...
I gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Like if there was retribution to a pedophile, you wouldn't have an issue, is what you're saying. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
No, not at all. And and thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah. I was like, I think that's what you mean, but I was just,
Yeah. But huge album, huge song that's just, it pumps everybody up when you hear it. Everybody gets like just pumped for it. So, and he's performing at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I did hear that, and I was excited about that. The greatest Super Bowl halftime show of all time, though, is Prince. I'm sorry, it just is and was.
I've never seen that one. Like, I'm not.
That's when Peyton Manning was in the Super Bowl, and so I was watching, and then there is Prince, who is like so amazing, and then like it started raining while he was singing Purple Rain. I mean, it's iconic. Yeah. Totally iconic. But anyway, thank you for catching me up on that. I had no idea what was going on. I'm not in the rap. I know this will shock you. I'm not in the rap world, so I did not know what was happening. But I'm so intrigued by it. Like, that's wild.
Yes.
And, it's so different than other feuds in the other parts of the industry, because the other feuds, they just smear each other, right? They're just like, oh, this one said this one and blah, blah, blah. And they start all these horrible rumors. Not necessarily these two people, but, they do actual physical things to each other and to friends. And it's like hardcore real life, not just drama for the cameras.
Yes. It's like, you're going to run your mouth? Well, watch out Friday night where,
And anyway, that's
crazy to me to think about that too, because you're like listening to this song and you're like, oh, wait, what happened to him?
This is off topic, but not really. Like, we're talking about just realizing what songs mean and what they say. So I'm also like a huge Maroon 5 fan. Like, I just love. Did you not know that? Yeah.
No, that's so. I should have guessed because of Imagine Dragons. I feel like they have like a similar like vibe to them.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. I only honestly like Imagine Dragons because I saw them in person and they were actually amazing. So like, I'm like, oh, wow. Like, just anyway, that's another story. Well, anyway, the Adam Levine and Christina Aguilera duet, Moves Like Jagger, right? I would just run to that. I was just, and then one day I was like, what? I was like, well, what did he just say about a tongue? What? It does not dawn on me. And then I'm like, who heard me playing this song? It's just like music gets me every time. Like
Yes.
I actually had Chapel Roan Pink Pony Club on my Spotify playing at
Such a good
work.
song. Yeah.
And Gabe, my youngest, was like, Mom, I was like, I really like this song, Gabe. Like,
It's a good song.
it helps me paint this room, you know? I don't really care. It's so fun. Like, music gets me every time. Like, every time.
Listen, this might be, outing my husband a little bit, but like every time, like he will like put that song on like when we're driving and he knows every word.
The Pink Pony Club. That's great. That's great. It is a great song. I mean, it is. It's a great song.
There's a lot of good songs that I'll listen to and I'm like, wait, I can't like sing this too loud because I'm straight.
Well, not only that, but like, we've done construction work like for people that we go to church with. And so like a lot of times I won't bring my AirPods because I don't like them. I like to just blast my music. And every time somebody will come up, I'm like, so my Spotify account is 95% Christian.
You're like, guys, I promise.
Yeah. But, like somebody, I used to have the Pitbull and Dolly Parton 9 to 5 on, which, doesn't.
Good one.
Isn't that hilarious? I mean, there's no cussing in that one. And I honestly can't have a lot of cussing in my head or else it's going to come out of my mouth. I mean, it's just the way my brain works. So I try not to have a lot of that in there, which frustrates me because a lot of really good music has a lot of language. Yeah. And so speaking of which, I was going to ask you about Beyonce's country album. And I think you've got a lot of thoughts on that.
I do.
But let me just say, I'd never heard it. Like I'd seen the Texas Hold'em, like I'd seen part of that, like video clips or whatever. And so I did what they wanted me to do. I streamed a couple of her songs last night, to hear and to know what all the fuss was about. And there was some language in some of them. And I was like, is that what country music is now? Like, I mean, I know there is some that's like Morgan Wallen, okay? Does he have a lot of explicit language in his songs?
It's hard to say like what a lot is. There is explicit language. Yeah, it's
like the F word, and CD and stuff. Okay, yeah. So that is kind of normal now.
Yeah.
Okay.
The F words, F bombs, that kind of thing are like, it's pretty normal. Even Sabrina, like I love Sabrina Carpenter. I am a huge Sabrina Carpenter fan.
Okay.
And like I love everything about her whole style, her whole like rebrand. I'm very into that.
Okay.
And one of my favorite songs by her, it's the goodness, why can't I remember the line?
Maybe you shouldn't say it.
No, I can only remember the one part. Like, okay, so she says like she drops like the MF in the song.
Gotcha.
And and so everyone was like, please make a clean version of this. And it's like little videos of their kid like going around singing it. Like, they make me laugh so hard. And Sabrina responded and was like, oh my gosh, I'm on it. Like, so sorry, working on it.
Sweet. Yeah.
So I think it's the one where she's like, heartbreak is one thing. My ego's another. Don't embarrass me. And then she changed it to Little Sucker, which.
See, why couldn't it have been Little Sucker to get?
Because Little Sucker doesn't hit as hard.
I know. But, I was going to ask you, so if you put the F word in the songs, does it make them more popular, honestly? Like, is that, I mean, I know people just kind of talk that way now. And so it's kind of if you're writing a song, well, why wouldn't you write it the way that you talk? But I am curious, like, well, I think comedy is another way to think about this, right? Everybody thinks that you can't be popular and be clean. But yet there are two comics right now that are super clean and super hilarious. Leanne Morgan and Nate, is it Bargazzi? What is his last name? But anyway, they're hilarious and they're clean comics. And I think it's harder to be funny and to be clean. I think it's a lot harder.
I think you're right. I didn't think about that for songs. I didn't think about like, does it increase like the popularity of it? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I know that like, I feel like there's a lot more like that is allowed on the radio than there was when I was a kid. Like,
100%.
Yeah. Which is crazy to me to like think about. Like, I feel like that's been like not a recent change. Like, I feel like that's been a couple years now. But when I was, in elementary school, like, I'm pretty sure, like, the S word.
The S word is allowed on the radio?
I've heard it. But again, different channels allow different things.
Yeah.
Where I live, Star 102.1 is like the popular, like, pop radio. And then there's another channel, I think it's Hot 103, that's more like reggae and rap. And there's more like language allowed there. So I don't know if it's like the nature of the song or nature of the genre. But my hot take is that Cowboy Carter is not a country album.
Yeah, I knew you had feelings about that. My husband does too. He wanted Chris Stapleton to win so bad. He didn't even care, right? Well, he didn't even care, right? And he was kind of looking at the TV because we were both laying in bed, and he was like looking at the TV, and he was like, I said, so who do you want to win? Because I'm not really a big country fan. Sorry, don't kill me. But, I knew that he is. He's a huge country fan. And so it was like, all these people, and they were naming them off. And I was like, so who do you want to win? And he said, Chris Stapleton. And I was thinking, I don't think he is. Like, I get you, but I don't think he's going to win. So Beyonce didn't surprise me because of her name, right? Yeah. Like, her name.
Is this her first Grammy? Or has she never won Album of the Year?
Correct. That's what it is.
Gotcha.
Like, she had won several things for several things. Yeah, several for several things. I'm saying too many severals. But yeah, to win Album of the Year for what I heard was interesting. But I also wonder if it's one of those things, hot take everybody, but if it's one of those things like with the Oscars of where like someone who deserved an Oscar 4 years ago and didn't get it and now has a new movie role that they got nominated at and really they shouldn't win it this year, but they do. I don't think it's correct, but is it were they overcorrecting for something that they felt like Beyonce didn't get at another time? I don't know, but I don't think they should have messed with country, right?
No. It's because that's the album that she put out this year. And, everyone criticized her for moving that genre, whatever. All of her albums are different genres. I am willing to hear out that she wanted to get into country. I'm willing to hear that out. I am not willing to hear out that Cowboy Carter beat out Tortured Poets Department. I'm not even a Swiftie. Beat out Short and Sweet. Beat out Billie Eilish's.
Eilish, yeah.
No, there's no way when only one song from that album went semi-viral, not even, and multiple songs from all those, like Cowboy Carter is done way back in the past. That is not something that people are listening to anymore. There's no way that it beat out all three of those albums. When all three of those artists, those producers, like everything involved with that is way, way more popular, way better. Like it's just, there's no way. I refuse to believe it. And not to get into like crazy whatever, but I feel like she knew it was happening. And I feel like Jay-Z maybe donated, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To the organization or whatever. But like her reaction, if you did you see it live, her winning it?
I did. And see, I thought she was legitimately like, what?
No.
I really did so you think it was all an act. See, people can fool me so quickly.
Well, I mean, I don't know which one of us is right, but she looked like a little kid, when you're like, okay, now grandma's going to get you a pair of socks. You need to act really, act surprised and, say thank you. And it's like, and you're like, oh.
Okay. Well, it could be. I don't know. And then there's the whole Billie Eilish crying. Like, why was she crying? But anyway, it reminded me because I've heard lip readers talk about what Jay-Z leaned in because we were talking about lip readers with Kanye and Bianca. So some people say that he leaned in and said, enjoy it. I paid for this. And it does not look like that to me at all. It really does look like fix your dress, girl. There's some plums,
Yeah.
And I was like, he probably is saying, I paid this much for this dress and it's, got underwire showing. I mean, I don't know. None of the lip readers say the same thing. Frustrates me.
I don't know either. Okay, there is one lip reader that I need her to spill and talk about the Kanye and Bianca and talk about the Jay-Z and Beyonce.
She hasn't yet. The one you like hasn't.
I haven't seen her post it yet. She and her so she is deaf and her sister and her own a small business together.
Yes, I think I know the one you're talking about. Yeah. Does she have like curly hair?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I wish I remembered her name because I would love to tag her, but it's she is the only one I trust.
And I bet you we're talking about the same one.
Yes. Yeah. And I bet she will not post anything about these. because she only does lip readings that she like feels like she can like read their lips.
Actually read their lips.
But she should. I need her to do this.
Yeah.
I need her to get into this. Yeah.
So have you seen the funny lip readers, like of where they're not supposed to be real, like of some of the political stuff? Oh my word. They're so hilarious. But getting back to Beyonce, you know, like people, like I had another TikToker, like they were the ones that pointed out her underwire. I'm just being honest with you. I don't know if I would have even seen it because I'm not going to look at her boobs, right? I'm looking at her face. But then I was like, oh my word, that happens to me all the time. Like, I hate that. And then I got really discouraged, Emily, because I was like, if Beyonce can't even keep her underwires from poking out, what chance do we have?
There's no chance.
World?
No.
Can you imagine? My word.
No. Free the nip.
Okay. So what did you think about the jellyfish haircuts that they're calling? Like, have you seen like Billie Eilish's new haircut? Like, what's your opinion?
Yes. Okay. So I think, have you heard the song? And it's, you know, it's got a ton of language in it, but it's the girl who is like, I'm too messy and then I'm too clean. That girl, have you heard that song?
No, it sounds like I would like it.
You would love it. You would.
Tons of language and a good beat. Just my style.
Well, she said she alternates between F-bombs and I can't remember what else. But yeah, it's lots of language. But it's such a good message about like, you know, I'm a woman and I can't, you know, you want me to be around for you all the time, but you also want me to work. You want me to be like, you know, go with the flow and super relaxed, but then you get upset like when I'm not clean, like, you know, not put together enough. Really good song. Yeah. I think the haircut you're talking about is what she has. It's like, is it kind of like fringy and like layered up front and then longer in the back?
Yeah, it reminded me of a mullet that had an extra tail. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like, it's short and then it's short and then it's long.
Okay, so
I almost want you to look up an image of Billie Eilish's new haircut right now.
I'm looking it up.
So you can see it. Yeah. Because I was just like, well, everybody kept saying, what's with her hair? And I was like, she's just doing something different. She is an entertainer and we're talking about it. That's the whole point. And then I heard somebody call it a jellyfish haircut. And I was like, oh, well, that makes sense with the long tentacles.
Like almost like a rat tail?
Except long.
Ooh.
All of it is a rat tail.
I just found it.
I can't see. I bet you, if it's her new, does it look like 3 different layers?
Yeah. Okay, so I've seen this before. It's like a mullet, and then it's like almost like pigtail like looking. Like just like the long. Yeah. I
just thought it was a bunch of wigs. To be honest, I don't know if that's her real hair.
I mean, it might be. You know, but that would also fit her style. I think. Yeah. It's not for me. I will not be doing that.
It's not for me. Yeah, no. I am not doing that either. Listen, I almost talked myself into getting the wolf haircut. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think that's what I was describing on that girl. Okay, yeah. The wolf haircut.
And I love it when it's done right. Yeah. But I heard someone call it a long mullet, and I was out. I was like, and I had already thought to myself, if I do that, because I have very wavy hair naturally, like it's not naturally curly, it's just weird. It's 80s hair is what it is. But I was like, I bet you I could do this wolf haircut. Like, I think I could, like with the texture. And then I was like, would it look like a mullet on me though? Like I had already had that thought. And then I was talking with my hairdresser about it. And she said, it is literally the hardest haircut, like to style, like literally on the planet. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not that girl.
The days when you feel like you're not going to style it, you don't want to like walk around feeling like, you know, like an old country man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what? I am 50 years old. I would look like an old country man.
You would not.
Exactly right. That is exactly right.
I think you would look good with it. I do. I think you would hate styling it. I think you would hate that part. And then you can't wear other styles, you know? Like it's like the one look. At least what I've seen. I'm sure you can style it, but
no, you're exactly right, because the way they've got to cut the layers, like I could tell my hairdresser was freaking out. She was like, no, you know, I've got to talk her out of this because she will in a week, no, tomorrow, you know, she will not want this. And it's true. Like I do that like with hair color and everything. Anyway, I think women are the same on that. But okay, I know this isn't about the Grammys.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do a public service announcement because we're talking about hair. to young moms out there, okay? Do not feel like you have to cut your hair because you've had a baby. I don't know why women feel pressured to do that, but I thought that trend was gone, but now I'm kind of just seeing it like people with this long, beautiful hair, they have a baby and they're like, okay, I'm a mom and so I'm going to cut my hair. Now, I'm not saying you can't cut your hair, but I do want you to think about, is it really easier to style that short hair or to just throw your hair up in a hair clip?
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, okay, does it, like when you have kids or like when you're like going through pregnancy, doesn't it change like your hair? Or is that just something that can happen?
That's something that can happen. It did not with me. So you know what? That's a really good point. Like if your hair has become split end central, you're going to have to do something. But most of the women that I see do it, like for some reason, they just think, new mommy, cut my hair off. And if you want to, that's fine. But it honestly is not easier. It is so much easier to have long hair and throw it up in a hair clip. It just is.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
I wonder if it's like a identity kind of thing. You know what I mean?
For sure. But then you feel bad about yourself in about 3 months and you want your long hair back.
Yeah. And then that cycle just keeps going.
Yeah. Yeah.
I keep having dreams about my hair falling out, like in chunks. And I wake up, like this has been like the past like 3 months. I've had this like dream about my hair falling out. And like I can like, it's so clear. I can like remember the feeling of like a giant like patch, like a chunk. Yeah. And it'll be like, I'm in the shower in my dream. I'm like running my fingers through my hair and like clumps are falling out. And I wake up in the morning freaking out. And I've like talked to Wesley. I'm like, I think I'm losing my hair. Like, I don't know why I'm having these dreams. And he's like, you're not losing your hair. That did not happen. And I'm like waking up like freaking out. But the only thing I've done differently is started taking hair, skin, and nail vitamins since I've had those dreams.
I was going to say, oh my word, if only we had like a Nutrafol commercial right now, that would have been so perfect to just go right into about, you can, my word, that would have been so perfect. But anyway, so
our sponsor.
So I have this recurring dream that happens when I'm super stressed. Like it doesn't matter how old I am. Like that's kind of how I know, oh my word, I am as stressed as I feel. So is this a recurring dream for you or is this new?
The past 3 months, it's been recurring. Yeah. But I've never had this dream before, like in my life. And not that I remember anyway.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I didn't start taking my vitamins until I started having this dream. Because I was like, well,
I gotcha. You're like, we're not going to do this. Do you red light therapy on your hair? Because I've heard that's really good.
I do, because you guys got me that red light for Christmas.
Oh.
Yeah. I'll like sit in the floor and like I'll be on my phone or something and have it like on top of my head. And Wesley got me like a frequency wand. So I like put that through my hair too. So I don't know if I'm just like starting to like pay attention to my hair more. And now I'm like worried about it.
Well, that's interesting. But I'm going to give you some encouragement. We could fix that easily by going and getting a wig, right? I mean, that is one thing that we can do. Would we want to? No, we want our real hair, but wow.
I would get a wig.
Updated. What?
Yeah, I would get a wig.
Yeah, I would too. I would. I used to go to a homeschool group with a lady who wore a wig all the time, and I had no clue.
Really?
Like she had alopecia. I had no clue until one time we were at an Easter egg hunt, and she said, it's too windy, my wig will come off. And I was like, what? I don't know if she was kidding, you know what I mean? And then I was like, were you serious? She's like, oh yeah, this is a wig. And I was like, what? It is the best wig I've ever seen.
That's really funny.
Yeah, it was great.
I went to school with a girl. I mean, like I was in middle school and she was like a senior and she had alopecia, but she like stopped wearing her wig. She was like, it's too much trouble. And then her hair grew back. Yeah. So I think a lot of hair, and I'm not saying this is the case for everybody, but I think a lot of hair is very affected by like what we do with our scalp, like if it's got sun, if it's got, lots of product in it or not, I think that affects it.
Absolutely. But I mean, wow, that was brave. That was so brave of her.
I think she just got tired of it. She's like, this is too much.
Circling back to the Grammys, is there anything else?
Did you see Sabrina Carpenter's performance?
I fast forward through her because, I'm sorry. I didn't know you loved her that much. I was not that impressed.
What do you mean?
No, so now I feel really bad.
I am never watching The Traitors.
Okay, and this is how the feud started between us. Oh my word. Well, I didn't know that you loved her that much. Like, you're really going to have to send me some of her music because
Yes.
the song that she sang, and I apologize if this is your favorite song.
I think it
just
is.
seemed, oh, I'm so sorry, but it just seemed kind of level. Do you know what I
Okay.
mean? Like, just kind
Yeah.
of one note. And I was like, okay, it's just not for me. You know, I didn't think it was bad. I just didn't think it was for me necessarily.
Well, that compared to Benson Boone, too, are
Right.
two, like,
Yeah.
two totally different things.
And
Benson is great.
Doechii as well, like Doechii, oh my word. Like, I was a
Yes.
little, again, her words caught up to me about 90% through the performance. And I was like, what? And I was like, she's a rapper. You know, it's kind of what they have to say.
Yeah.
But I mean, my word, have you seen that girl's dance moves?
Yes. She is so good. So good. And I think she just recently performed on SNL, too.
Okay. See,
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm a Gen Xer, but I've never been into SNL.
Really?
Really. I can't, like, the humor, you know, the type of humor where they're like stabbing each other and blood's going everywhere and everybody thinks it's really funny. I can't stand it. Like, I'm like, oh, no. Yeah. Now, do I like the clips about Chris Farley, like in his van living down by the river? Yeah, I think that's funny. So I am one of those type of people that just curate for me the funny clips, but I'm not going to sit through the whole thing and watch it.
I love SNL.
I know I'm in the minority. I know it. And I mean, people that are a little bit older than me, like they've watched it their whole entire lives. Like they watch it live. They're so into it. And I think I also don't like how political they get sometimes. And so I'm like out. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
I know.
Finding out a lot about you today.
Yeah. I'm into a lot of things that just, you know, I either like things or I don't. Like it's its own. Yeah.
I've liked SNL more the older I get and the more like I know who's on there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's really funny. But Wesley doesn't like it at all. He like can't stand it.
See, he and I are very similar.
Very similar.
Mark, you know what? Mark should be watching SNL. I bet he would think it's hilarious.
Probably.
Yeah. And then like Three Stooges, like Mark thinks it's hilarious. I can't stand the Three Stooges. I'm always like, I think he really got hurt. Like, I think he really hurt that guy's head.
I think I've ever seen the Three Stooges. So I don't.
Oh,
yeah.
You would love it.
You're like, oh, you probably love it.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, and I don't know of anybody who knows this, but our actual family, you and Mark are like clones on a lot of things that you like. It's hilarious.
It's like a little scary, to be honest. Yeah. Wesley has said to me before, and this is horrible, but he's like, I think I married my dad.
I know. Like, for real. Like, y'all's tasting food, you're tasting music, like, sense of humor. It seems like more. Like, I mean, y'all are very similar.
But maybe that's why we get along so well.
Yeah. Well, everybody gets along with you, though, Emily. You're amazing. And you just went viral, girl, on TikTok. Do you want to talk about that? Right?
Yeah. So this was like, this was watching again, I haven't seen the Grammys. I've just seen the highlights. And so I posted something about like Bianca and Kanye, and that just took off. And if you watched our other episode, because I know this is part 2, one of the things that like was like so concerning was all of the comments. Like everyone started fighting about like, oh, well, this happened. Oh,
we also talked about how No Lip Reader was saying the same thing and how confusing it is. And yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But they're viral. You're viral. Everybody's viral. Thank you, Bianca.
Yeah. It was their publicity stunt that I somehow got on the back wave of somehow.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Yeah. Don't mind if I do.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But the Grammys were crazy. There was a lot, and I'm sure this happens every year, and I just don't pay enough attention to it.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing. I was like, is it just because, you know, you and I are now talking about pop culture? Or is it really something I would have picked up on anyway? And I think I would have, because I was listening to one of my normal podcasts this morning and they were like, did you see? And so I think it's like the Scandival thing, like with Vanderpump Rules, of where everybody kind of was like, Vanderpump Rules is still on. And a lot of us are like, yeah, we've been here the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, so anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, just so everyone knows, another public service announcement. I do not recommend Vanderpump Rules.
Well, okay. Weren't you going to tell me about the Australian
Married at First Sight.
Yes. Yeah, because I've seen some of those clips that you've sent me, but I don't know about it like you do.
No, I've honestly, it's kind of like you and the Grammys. I haven't watched it because I used to be a huge Married at First Sight fan for the American version. And I wanted my husband and I to do a podcast about it.
Yeah.
Because we're just like, y'all, if you would just do this, y'all might stay together. I mean, it actually would have been really cool, I think, because Mark and I have been married for 32 years now. I think it would be cool to talk to him about these newlyweds or whatever.
You should.
It became a lot of plug and play. It seemed like it was the same type of people, no matter if they were in Dallas or Miami or wherever. And so it just got to be a lot. Well, I watched one season many years ago of Married at First Sight in Australia, and I couldn't take it. They were mean. I was stunned at the things that they actually said to each other. Everything is different. They all stay in this one house together, and they have these dinner parties of where they all mingle.
That's weird.
It felt very weird. And then come to find out, in another season later on, because me and the person that didn't match up was they were sleeping with each other.
So it was a swinger vibe.
In a few, I hate to say this because I've not watched every season, but for sure you got some of that, I wished I would have been matched with you. And when you don't know the person that you've been married to,
you don't.
I could see how that could happen easily because you don't feel any loyalty to them. You've not fallen in love yet. And then here's this bombshell coming in. Anyway, I didn't like the vibe at all.
Yeah.
But this year I've been seeing all these TikToks. And if you look up Tim and Katie on Married at First Australia, it is nuts. This guy has lost his mind.
Okay. So the clip that I've seen is just them taking their pictures, and she's and I don't know if this is Tim. I don't know who this couple is.
I don't think it is.
Okay,
yeah, no. The one with the jacket.
Yeah, where he's oh man, I hate to see a girl cold. She's I'd always protect you.
Yes. And she asked him twice to give her the coat.
Yeah.
And he finally was looking at producers can I give her my coat? And she's you don't have to ask. So they had a really rough start, but yet a clip I saw of their first dinner party, they seemed to be doing okay. So now I'm maybe I should be watching this. I don't know.
Is that, do you think that's proof that it's scripted? Because he's is it okay if I give her my coat?
I don't think so. I think he was just that dumb.
He
just was clueless. And then he took off his jacket and he was complaining about him being cold.
It's just, where are the good men?
I wish I knew their names. I do not remember their names. But did you see later on, did I send you the clip of them dancing? Those same people with the coat? Okay. So he says, I'm going to dip you. And in the dance. And she says, okay, but you're going to have to catch me. And he said, no problem, no problem. Well, girlfriend landed on the floor. And yes, and him on top of her. That, I bet, not seen any of it, okay? I bet she gets to the end of this day and is okay, there is literally nothing else that could have possibly gone wrong. Yeah. Maybe I just clean slate this and just see what happens.
Maybe, but come on. That's bare minimum stuff. Bare minimum.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, but the Tim and Katie thing.
Yeah.
I wish I could show you a picture. Listen, I feel so bad talking about somebody's looks. But when you go after another woman for their looks on mic, which people say, he didn't know they were going to record it, blah, blah, blah. If you're wearing a mic, you're wearing a mic.
Yeah.
And he did ask to talk to a producer off there, but you never hear him say, can we please turn my mic off? I don't want to hurt her feelings, anything like that. And he just said, well, I go for petite blondes or brunettes or, basically anything but her. Okay. So people really got on him about that. Then at the dinner party, I actually sent this clip to Mark. And I was I know it's long, but I have no one to talk to about this. To watch this clip and tell me what you think.
Okay.
And it starts out of where he is at, the table's kind of going after him a little bit. The women are, because apparently Katie was woken up on their wedding night by him. He was sleeping in another room. And he comes in and wakes her up and tells her, well, there's no spark. Do you want me to leave? Yeah. And, so she's just telling her girlfriends this, right? She's like, I don't know what to do with this. And they're just like, what? You got to have time, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, they were kind of going at him a little bit at the table.
Yeah.
So when the other couples like turn their attention somewhere else, he and her are talking like you and I, like side to side.
Okay.
And he's like basically berating her for not having his back and that, she broke his trust.
You told me there was no spark.
Emily, it was gaslighting 101. And then he turned it on her of where, he was like, well, I'm the one putting in the effort and you're not. I'm being honest. I mean, it's insane. And so at the dinner party, the experts, there's 3 of them, are watching it through the TV screen.
Mm-hmm.
And so they pick up on some, but I've always been really confused about like how much they know and how much they don't because of what I saw when I did watch a season in the editing. It was confusing, like what they knew and what they didn't know.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're like, they don't know anything. They have no idea what's going on. So I hope that's changed. I hope that there are more camera footage that they can see. I don't know. It's a mess. Yeah, I know. It's so wild, Emily. It is so wild. He wants to be seen. He wants to be seen as the good guy. And I commented on somebody's TikTok yesterday. I was like, he has no clue what we have seen as the audience right now. Like for him to be saying these kind of things to camera, he has no idea. And then, of course, somebody was making fun of what he was wearing. And when I tell you, I feel bad. But if you see him like getting up and walking away from the dinner table, he is in the skinniest of skinny white jeans.
What's his name?
Tim on Married at First Sight Australia. Yeah, look it up. Tim and Katie. And I'm not saying she's the be all and end all. I don't know her, but because he's being so terrible.
Of course you're going to like take her side because he's being horrible to her.
Yeah. Right. So I don't know if I'm going to start watching it. And he's a bombshell, right? Yeah. Tim is it.
Tim has like an hourglass shape.
That's very well put. Very well put. And listen, horrible. If he was not so aggressively like, I want a petite blonde,
very pretty too.
She's darling. Yeah, I don't know if I can handle it or not, but I just keep getting the TikToks and it keeps wanting me to watch the show, which is the point. But
so this article was posted 52 minutes ago, and it says Katie apologizes for her betrayal.
See what is going on?
This is a bad dude. I want to know if this is like how he's decided to portray himself. I want to know his history. I want someone who had
the teacher. Did it not say that?
I did. Okay.
Yeah, please look that up because that might be propaganda. That might not be true. Sorry, we're supposed to be talking about the Grammys and I've got talking about Australia. Well, it all goes back to Bianca. Bianca's from Australia. Y'all, I'll tell you, I sent her a meme the other day that was about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. And it was like me chasing my normal husband with all of the information. And I sent it to Emily and I was like, this is me and you on any given day, like sending each other things we're finding out. And if you want to know about that, like we're going to keep talking about that, aren't we, Emily?
Oh,
like the more Blake Lively stuff. It's crazy.
Yes. Yeah. Because it just keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I said this last time.
Nobody's backing down. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not finding anything about like what his job is.
Okay. Let me look real quick while you talk about
this is a horrible like take on it. They're saying like Tim is allowed to have a type. He doesn't, Okay.
Well, if he is, then don't go on the show though. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. It's absolutely you can have a type and absolutely you can have preferences. But then maybe don't get matched up with a stranger and be horrible to them. That's just, and also have some, what is it? Not self-respect, but some self-evaluation, what is that called? Like, no.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Awareness?
Awareness. No. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say. Self-awareness. Because, good Lord.
Yeah.
I'm going to be okay. I know you're being really nice. I'm going to be completely honest.
No.
Wait, no, I don't think I'm going to. Wait,
I'm not going to school teacher. Sorry. He's a primary school teacher.
He's shaped like a gourd. I am looking at this, and you're telling me.
Do you see his little white jeans? Do you see his white jeans, though?
Oh, no, I haven't. I've only seen their wedding pictures. I can't imagine his white jeans.
Yeah, his shirt was white. His jeans are white. And
why would you wear that?
I don't know. Because I'm being honest with you, even like bodybuilders that look like a triangle are not attractive looking to me. Like, I don't like the little chicken legs with the big shoulders. I think that's disproportionate. But yeah, anyway, man, we've got going down a rabbit hole. We know we're not perfect. Y'all that are going to comment on us, we know we're not perfect.
Don't be mean to us.
Don't be mean.
We're not on Married at First Sight. No, we
not
found
even
our
the one
husband.
in America. Yeah,
no, we are not subjecting ourselves to this.
Right.
We are commentators only.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to lose a lot of listeners who come here because I'm a Bible study writer. When I say this next thing, yeah. Do you know Theo Vaughn on TikTok?
I love Theo Vaughn.
Oh, I do too.
He's so funny.
I know he cusses like you cannot believe, but I love him so much, Emily.
He's so funny.
Oh my gosh. And I actually admitted this to my husband. I was like, I feel like he's my third son. Like, I really do. Like, I'm like, Theo, I see you. You can do this. And then I looked up his age.
How old is he?
And I think he's like 44 or something. And I'm like, now I'm going to have to look it up. I'm like, okay, so maybe I'm big sister instead of mom. But listen, I'm not saying to look him up. His language is terrible. But yet the sweet moments, I'm like, his heart, Emily. But anyway, what I was going to say was that I heard he's been on the challenge. So now I want to go back and watch him on the challenge.
That's, I didn't know that. Oh goodness, what's his name? The podcast guy. Well, I thought he was like 28.
I thought he was early 30s.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be pushing it for me to be his mom. But I'm still willing, like my long lost son out there who needs a mama. Yeah, maybe this is why I bond to him. He's born March 19th. I'm not going to say anymore because this is a public domain. But anyway, that's close. I was like, oops, maybe I better not say that. We might be around the
Kroger account.
For real. Y'all, she's talking about my app on a supermarket has been hacked twice in the last 6 months. So, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm paranoid about it. Okay,
Yeah.
Anyway. So Theo Vaughn has been on the challenge, like when he was much younger. I've never seen the challenge, but I was like, I want to watch the challenge now and watch Theo Vaughn because it would be hilarious.
Yeah.
And they would have to beep out everything that he says.
Yeah. But he's so funny. Everything he does is so funny.
It's one of those things of where you're sitting there thinking sometimes like he makes a ton of sense. And then other times you're like, okay, I don't understand a word he's saying. So is it me? Like, what's wrong with me that I'm not understanding what he's saying?
He's so funny. But I like him because I don't think he's, what's the word? Yes, he's got a lot of language. But it feels like good old boy cussing. You know what I mean? And there's a difference between that.
It's like a family reunion, right?
Yeah.
It does. But what does that say about
comforting.
us? I don't know. But I sent something to Wesley. Like, I finally kind of was like, okay, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag that I know who this is. And he writes me back, oh, Mom, he's a really good guy. Like, he's a recovering addict. I'm like, yeah, I know. I actually love him.
You're like, yeah, I know all about Theo.
Yeah. Anyway,
don't talk to me about Theodore. I know about it.
Have you heard him say his full name?
I have no idea if that's his full name or not.
No, I mean, have you heard him say it? It's like,
no.
Is it
long? Huh.
Yeah. Huh. I can't do it, or I would do it, and impress you. But
now
one
comedian that he's with or used to be with, like sometimes Bobby, he's an Asian man. He's not a good guy. He's a horrible guy.
Yeah.
No, but they have one joke I think it's Theo Vaughn. They have one joke of where they're on a podcast or something, and he's like, okay, pretend like you're my dad. And Theo Vaughn goes, Bobby.
I've seen it. I've seen that. I've seen it. No, I don't like Bobby. I'm sorry if he's still Theo's bestie, but I don't like him. I normally scroll past if it's him.
Don't think they're working together anymore. I don't know if that means that they had a falling out or what.
Yeah.
But Bobby's a bad guy. A bad guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, did you see where Theo Von was at the inauguration and all that stuff, like with Conor McGregor and the Paul brothers?
I saw where he fell. His chair broke.
Yeah, his chair
Yeah.
broke. And he talks about that on his podcast. I'm like, okay, whatever, that happens. But okay, so I'm really torn about Conor McGregor. Because if what I've heard comes out in the courts, that he really did that to that girl, Emily, it's horrific. Okay.
Wait, I don't know about that. I thought
I honestly can't say it on our podcast. Like, it's so explicit, like it's horrible what he's accused of doing. So Conor, I watched him. Who did he fight that was an actual boxer? And they went 3 rounds and then the boxer actually started. Wesley's going to be dying because he was with me. Okay, anyway. So, like, we saw the weigh-in. We saw all of that. Like, we bought the pay-per-view, all this. So, it was myself, Wes, Gabe, Mark, all sitting in our living room, watching Conor McGregor and the very, very famous boxer that I'm pretty sure has Floyd Mayweather? No, I don't know. Anyway, made a ton of money. I think he's the most prolific boxer that's ever been. But anyway, I can't remember his name. Anyway. Conor McGregor, got up there. He was in underwear, but almost a Bianca situation, and he was loud and proud, right?
Yeah.
Doing weigh-in and all that. So anyway, we watched that. And there is just something about Conor McGregor that, he just has the it factor for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, just the it factor. Well, then all of this horrible stuff came out, and I was like, oh, not Conor. Please, not Conor. It's like you're not surprised, but yet you still don't want it to be true.
Not him, yeah.
Yeah, and then Theo Von had a run-in with him, when he was drunk, and apparently he was spitting, and
oh,
no, it. Ooh.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
not Conor.
I was like, and I'm like, oh, he was drunk. I was like, that doesn't matter. You need to have enough self-awareness, like we were just talking about. And then I felt really bad for Theo because I got thinking about what he was around in order to go to the inauguration as a recovering addict or whatever, whatever he deals with. I'm sorry, I don't remember the verbiage that he prefers. But, he was around drinking and, there was other stuff going around him.
Yeah.
And him having to just stay sober with all of that, even with people in his face and people just... Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And listen, I don't remember what Theo Von said exactly about, because I was just seeing clips. And I was like, I really should go and listen to the whole podcast before I talk about it on our podcast. But I didn't know we were going to be talking about this.
Yeah. Just the highlights.
Yeah. So he was just going through this. And I was just, anyway, I don't know. I hope it just dawned on me how hard that would be for a sober person to be that environment. To be in that environment and how hard that would have been on someone in recovery.
Yes.
And I don't think we give people the credit that they need to have for being around those kind of environments.
Yeah. Because that's the hardest part of things. No matter what you're doing, even if you're just trying to follow a diet plan or follow whatever, being in the social situations is the hardest part.
Yes.
So, take that to the, 10th extreme and something that you're trying to quit to better your life. And then you're around that. Yeah, that's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. Well, this was what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought. So I was thinking though, even though, Theo Von was there with Conor McGregor and all that, I don't think he's the type of guy that if you throw a punch, he's going back down.
Theo?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't give that. No.
I think he's, even knowing he's going to die, I think, no offense, Theo Von, but I've never seen you, throw a punch. I think he had the wherewithal to not fall prey to an instigation, right? So praise God, you're so smart, so mature at your 44 years old.
We're so proud of you.
We're so proud. I'm just telling you that your mama may not have been so nice in that situation, because I've been in situations of where you're like, okay, I know I'm going to get all my teeth knocked out, but you've crossed the line, and now, now we just going to have to go for it.
Your son, my husband, he has both I don't know if temper is the word, but that's the word.
Yeah. Sorry.
But but he also has marks too. So
Yeah.
it is a slow burn and a watch out. It's both.
Yeah, I hate to tell you this, but I think that is full on me because
Really?
it takes a lot for me,
Yeah.
but then there's a line.
Yes.
And I've had I honestly, this sounds like I'm not a nice person. I promise you I am overall. But there have been energy shifts immediately when my line gets crossed. And everybody in a particular cell phone store goes completely silent. I have not said one word. I have not given anybody a dirty look. I have not huffed and puffed.
Yeah.
The line has been crossed internally. And everybody starts going, Miss Graham, it will be just a minute. Miss Graham. And I'm like, okay. And I've not thrown a punch. I've not threatened to call corporate.
Right.
Not done anything like that.
It's just a seriousness. Yeah.
I guess because I've not even said a word. And then I've had it to happen in a grocery store as well. I had a situation. I cannot believe I'm admitting to all of this. But I had a situation in a grocery store one time of where I had a big thing of water. And I honestly needed to get it up on the counter so that then, because they didn't have, you have to then move your whole cart and then reorganize everything in the cart, all this kind of stuff. And that was the situation. I just wanted to reorganize it. So I was putting everything up on the belt so it would go, would get checked out, and then I would reorganize. Well, the lady goes, I can't touch that because I have back issues. And I was like, okay. She's like, so you don't need to set it up here because I have back issues. And I said, okay, I'll get it, but I can't touch it. I was like, okay, I'll move it. And we're just kind of staring at each other, and yeah. I'm moving my stuff around.
I'm doing what you want.
I'm like would you, I did not say this, but in my head, I'm going, would you please get the button thing and just scan it so we can get I don't have a problem moving my water 4 or 5 times.
What is she wanting to do?
Yeah. I didn't say a word. I didn't do anything. And all of a sudden, 3 other employees were coming around. How are you doing today, honey? Let me get this for you. What are you doing? And I was like, I'm doing fine. But Mark says everybody knows though. And I'm like, I don't know how. I'm not saying anything. I am really and truly praying for the Holy Spirit to not let me do him wrong in this situation. Honest to goodness. But yet there is an energy shift around me that is just...
Yes. Wesley, okay.
So Wesley has that, correct?
Yes. I have never been the subject of that.
Well, I would hope not. Yeah.
No. I need to make that clear. But I have seen that with other people, with, we were, situations where other people were talking to me, and I love talking about that because it makes me feel like, oh, yes, very pretty girl. But
yes.
There was one time, and this is in our home, in our house, and we were playing. He wasn't being truly angry, but we were kind of chasing each other. I had just scared him really bad. I had got him good.
Yeah.
And I love that. But he was coming back to scare me. And I cannot tell you. I mean, first off, he jump scared. It was a jump scare. I got bad.
My word.
But it was it's exactly like you're describing it. It was like an energy came out of him.
And I was
yes.
Oh, no.
And he was and I screamed really loud, a deep, not a pretty girl scream, a true
an actual scream.
Yes, a true guttural scream. And Jethro starts going, Jethro was in a dead sleep and had starts going crazy, what's going on? What's going on?
Yeah.
And Wesley was like, hey, I'm so sorry. I start crying. I was so scared. And he was like, hey, it's okay. I was like, I don't know what you did, but you released your power or something. And I'm crying.
Released your power? I love that.
It's literally what it felt like. It literally felt like, you know what I mean?
Huh.
And I've seen that. I've seen him get truly angry with people, and people start immediately acting different.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's more impressive that happens with you, because Wesley's a 6'7" man. So
yeah, well,
yeah.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. Most of the time I'm able to just leave a situation, right? If I feel myself getting very, very angry, which is few and far between. It used to be a lot worse, let me tell you. But through the work of the Lord, right, it is very few and far between. I'm able to empathize, and I'm able, to say, oh, they're just having a bad day. But Yeah, there's certain lines that should not be crossed. And so getting back to, Theo Von, I really respect him not playing into what I think other people either wanted through intoxication or just let's make a viral video of us, taking Theo Von down or whatever. But I don't think talking about like the good old boy language and that kind of thing. Do you get the impression like that he would back down from like if he could not get out of a fight? Do you think he would back down or just go for it?
I get the impression that he's not going to go down without a fight, but I don't think he's inviting it in. You know what I mean? Like, I think there are people and personality types that like are like seeking fights and like always looking for like almost like on the prowl,
Yeah.
And they typically tend to be, like 5'2" men, but there's that, versus something happening.
How tall is Kanye? No, I did not say that.
I think he's actually kind of short because him is 5'1".
Allegedly. How tall is Kanye? Sorry. We could have solved the Bianca situation. No.
And there we go. Well, okay. Isn't Kim like 5'1" or 5'2" or something?
He's really little. All of them except Kendall are like real little.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Courtney is like, oh no, Chloe. Forgot about her.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Courtney is really small. I think Courtney's like 5 foot.
That's crazy.
I don't know. Yeah. Girl, I could talk to you all day about the Grammys and of all things Theo Von and energy shifts.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Lord.
But we've covered so much today. And if you have listened to part 1 and part 2, thank you so much for being here and listening to all of our crazy. I hope you now have new opinions about the Grammy.
Yes. And also, I keep forgetting to ask for reviews. And so that really does help people to find us. Like the 5 stars, actually leaving a review would be so, so helpful and so appreciated. We are just giving our opinion about all this pop culture stuff that has just blown up. It's been crazy.
Alleged opinions.
Yes, alleged opinions.
Yes.
For entertainment purposes only.
Exactly. But thank you for tuning in. Like Melissa said, please leave a review, like and subscribe. It really helps us out so much.
Yes, it does.
All right. And we'll see you next week on the chat line. Bye.